V has always had the natural ability to surprise people, but in his debut album, the surprise didn't come in the form of impossibly unexpected falsetto or innocently witty punchlines. It came in the incredibly slow and extended immersion in pain that V didn't allow us to be free from in the end. It's so sadistic, but he delivered it so softly that you won't even realize the anguish that could overtake you. Here are 10 things I picked up from V's debut album Layover.
Hi! Please give this video a like if you end up liking it and enjoying it, and click that subscribe button and that notification button so that you know when there's a new video coming out. And of course, share the video because that's really helping my channel. Okay, listening to V's album is actually a trip. It's an entirely different kind of a trip, which I always knew. V has always had this kind of eclectic taste, not just in music, but also in fashion and even in the way that he expresses himself. So one thing that really surprised me in this album is how he made it very, very, very palatable. That even if you don't bother to actually dig deeper into the music that he's putting out, you will still be able to come up with a really full story, a full narrative that you can relate to. Okay, let's get to it.
Warm and eerily utopian. Almost every setting used in all these so far released music videos have a specific kind of finish that is too smooth and too sophisticated to be contemporary. There's a touch of sepia. Everything is spotless that makes it feel so eerie. In fact, if you let it settle into you, it could feel uncomfortable, like it's an artificial world created to your liking. Nothing organic, nothing is real. But the warmth of V's voice and the gentleness of the melody and the beat and the languid movements of V can distract you from the tragedy that's unfolding. It's incredibly smart and undoubtedly cinematic. It feels like it could be a setup of an HBO series. It's very V. He never gives you what you expect. He always has a deeper layer in his work, often an unsettling one. That's exactly what he did in Layover. It's never what you would initially think, which leads me to my next point. Emotional narrative. The narrative of the songs lay down a pretty clear story, from reminiscing, to wishing for a reconciliation, to trying to get the yesterday back, to begging, to a slow surrender, to acceptance of loss. V reminisces in Rainy Day, wishing he could bring back the past. The mood, the tone, and the beat are all light. He maintains the same tone in Blue, but there is more force and urgency in his voice, actually asking for the past to come back instead of just thinking about it. Love Me Again is the peak of his desperation, publicly declaring the longing that he felt. He finally starts to let go in Slow Dancing, succumbing to a faster beat, but not by much. In For Us, he completely surrenders to his loss and leaves himself with nothing but moaning to relieve the pain. The visuals, however, talks of a different story. The visual narrative. It wouldn't have been V if it didn't keep something torturous under the sheet, while the lyrics talk about the longing for something or someone or the desire to take it back. The music videos, although still incomplete, seem to hint at some desperate attempt at relief through futuristic manifestation of his desires. In Rainy Days, V was creating a sculpture of himself or several sculptures of himself. In Slow Dancing, when he took a photo of him and his friends inside a van, the Polaroid showed only him, wearing different clothes. He was also shown trying to come up with some codes in Rainy Day, and by Slow Dancing, one of his friends opened a laptop, revealing some Matrix-like kind of code. Almost every element in his room in Rainy Day and Slow Dancing also manifested in The Beach. It seems that somehow he manifested or created his desires into reality. Once that idea was a bit more concrete in my head, I decided to re-watch all the music videos one after the other. V's calm and collected, almost nirvana-like stability He just became so scary in my eyes. Like, he would never hurt people physically, but he would not think twice about controlling the world and everyone in it with his fingers for his own satisfaction. He said he wanted to play a villain. When he does, I am pretty sure I'm going to have nightmares of him. Nostalgia and modernity in visuals and sound. The desaturated color finish of rainy days, the sound of the rain, gigantic windows in a circular room actually give you a vintage feel until his phone starts dinging. It suddenly snaps you into the future. It is those little touches that show the conscious effort to combine nostalgia and futurism. There are more in Slow Dancing. The van itself is crafted in a classic minivan style, but the silver coating gives it an almost dystopian feel. They are surrounded by nature, but V keeps on coating everything we see in their little island. But the combination are so subtle and aesthetically pleasing that you don't even notice the merging of these two worlds. All elements into a single cohesive story. Each element of the songs, the beat, the melody, the lyrics, and V's voice, and the music videos, the cinematography, direction, production design, they all form one cohesive story. For you to get the totality of the narrative, you cannot take a single element out. It's like a puzzle. Take a piece out and it's incomplete. Take the dinging out of the cell phone out in the intro of Rainy Day, and you will miss the futurism in the middle of nostalgia. Had V decided to hit high notes instead of staying in baritone, and you would lose the eerie, almost psychopathic feel of his character. Each element is intentional, and each element is a piece of a grand puzzle. That is V's art. Unconventional structure. V has never been one to take the conventional route, but I still found it surprising to witness him ditch all the tried and tested formulas to gain some commercial success. For one, he decided to stay in baritone instead of hitting high notes, which we all know he is capable of doing. He also didn't speed up in any part significantly to put some highlights in the songs. In fact, the entire genre he chose is almost never used in K pop, jazz, and classical. Certainly not in an entire song. Even his music videos are laid back. It lacks the explosive colors, complicated choreography, or special effects commonly seen in K pop music videos. V counted on the story he wanted to tell. And if you really want to truly understand and appreciate his artistry, you cannot afford to be lazy in your analysis. He buried so many gems. You need to dig deeper. Slow Death. The visual, the beautiful melody, and even more beautiful voice of V felt like a lullaby. But it's actually torture. The whole album starts with such a sweet reminiscing of the past. You won't realize that he's trying to pull you deeper in his sadness before it ends with his madness. You won't even realize you have willingly walked into a prison, decorated with roses and lighted with fireflies. That's how he progressed the message that he wanted to tell. From bad to sad to desperate to madness. The screen and Yontan. In the so far released music videos, the screen and Yontan seem a consistent component. To me, the screen serves as a door to this other world that he was longing for. In Rainy Days, V was watching animations before it morphs into a flower, morphing into reality. In Slow Dancing, the TV was showing him on his out-of-town trip. In Love Me Again, the TV shows the lyrics or his emotions concretized in words. It seemed to be a window or a door for us to get a glimpse of something deeper in him. Yontan, however, is a red herring. While he seemed to be V's consistent companion, it seemed that V was actually setting up the table for two people. And the way he kept on looking at who we can assume to be Yontan seemed to be very human-like for his gaze and actions to be for a dog. In other words, Yontan was witnessing V's longing for something or someone. Yontan was not the object of V's thoughts. Yontan was a mere witness. A broken ending for us is so broken, and I think it was intentional for him to leave a broken resolution instead of providing relief. Instead of talking about letting go and moving on, he remained trapped in his longing. And you're there with him. It's uncanny and certainly risky for a pop star to leave things unsettled. But such is life. Not everything is settled. Sometimes you just have to be okay for your questions to be left unanswered. Intro to V's journey. This seems to be a mere intro to V's journey as a solo artist. He has always been influenced by jazz and classical music, and it showed. I think it was as authentic as he could get, given that he is trying to introduce himself as an artist to the world. I think in his next album, he's going to take an unconventional and unexpected route.
I am, of course, very, very proud of all the records that he's breaking and he's establishing. I'm very proud of the way that he's been able to push himself creatively. He really created a sound very, very different and very distinct from BTS and from the rest of his bandmates. And that's not really surprising for me, but I'm so proud of what he has been able to accomplish. But I am most proud of the fact that he really pushed himself. This is a new Taeyong that we're seeing. I've always thought that he was going to be the weird one. He was going to come up with a jazz album that I won't be able to listen to, but I couldn't be so wrong. It only goes to show that he is creative enough to be able to find something that is authentic to his taste in music, but is still speaking to ARMYs, because as he has repeatedly emphasized, ARMY is very important for him. So I couldn't be more proud, and I hope that you get to enjoy the album as much as I did. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more from Taeyong. Okay, I would love to hear your thoughts though. Please leave them in the comment section below. Even if you don't like it, go ahead and leave a comment if you feel like doing it, but please be respectful. And of course, you can get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. But if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe and hit that notification button so that you know when there's a new video coming out. And more importantly, share the video if you can. Thank you.